us know, sir, if you want to lead it. And welcome back. 2019 IPF World Championship. And we have the 83 kilo open. And some big heavy hitters in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting class, I think.
There is, of course, returning champion Brett Gibbs, fresh off of his dominant 10 times body weight win in Calgary. And to do so, he had to beat Russell Orhe from the U.S. Now, Russell had gone into Calgary with a couple minor injuries. All those have cleared up, and in training has hit some staggering lifts. Everybody's all hyped up about some of these videos coming out, 710-pound squat. So there's a rematch there. But also, out of Kazakhstan, the return of Ulan, 2017 champion from Minsk, Belarus. And Ulan is the last man to have defeated Brett Gibbs. So we have two rematches of sorts in the 83 kilo class. And there's also a Brit who's right there in the mix. I think you might know him.
I know him, Owen Hubbard.
Owen Hubbard, pride of Britain, and from Wales like yourself.
From Wales, yeah.
So a phenomenal bench presser in terms of, I think, very rarely has Brett ever lost in with the gold medal with bench press.
No, yeah.
And when was the last time he lost in the gold medal bench press?
Gosh, it must have been 2000.
It was to Owen Hubbard. It was, 2018 he lost to Owen Hubbard. So it's going to be a battle right down to the wire, I'm sure. We're going to start off in the squat event. Kafwi from Canada is going to start us off with 232.5 kilos. Kafwi Hojayami of Canada, 232.5 kilo loaded on the bar. That looks good.
Yeah, that's a nice opener.
Yeah, and that's really what you want to see, just get something on the board. You don't want to overly stress yourself.
Absolutely.
In a lot of ways, energy conservation, you only have so much energy to give throughout the day. And Jacek Spikali of Poland, 240 kilo on the bar for him. Spikali, 41 years old, a master lifter, competing in the open. That looks good.
A little bit of work there, I thought.
What's that, sorry?
Looked like a little bit of work for him there.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it's funny. The facial expressions sometimes can throw you off because some people have a facial expression of really grinding no matter what. In the bar speed sometimes as well, there could be a quick drop off. Now here comes the pride of Wales, Mr. Intensity himself. Even his openers, he takes intensely.
Yeah, he's had a bit of trouble with his leg in training, so he's going to see what he can do in the squat today.
Well, a little bit of insider information. 255 kilo. Well, what do you think?
That's nice. Yeah.
If there's an injury there,
yeah.
if there's an injury there, it's not showing yet. Yuri Rus of Slovenia. I spoke to some of his coaches, and they think very highly of his chances. On the European circuit, been racking up the wins, and they feel this is going to be a bit of a coming out party for him. For a lot of people, especially coming out of Slovenia, he's somewhat flying underneath the radar. Certainly doesn't have the social media presence of a Brett Gibbs or Russell Orhe, but he does have a lot of skills and talent. Nothing like a good showing at the IPF World Championships to put yourself on the mark. 257.5 kilo, moves pretty well.
That was great. Good depth there as well. Perfect.
You know, some people like to do the squats fast, explosive, and sometimes even if the bar speed's slow, it's controlled and not laborious necessarily. Slow doesn't necessarily mean hard. I guess a good indicator is also if the lifter is pulled out of position.
Yes, absolutely.
Isaac Bake, 260 kilo, also from Canada. Canada's got a nice little 1-2 punch in the 83 kilo class. Both of them at the top end. So they're on platform 1. Nice depth. Isaac is the Canadian national record holder in the squat. He squatted 273 kilo, and I believe is the first Canadian to squat over 600 pounds. You like the, yeah, you like your pounds conversion? We do in Canada. 260 kilo, and the Irish have tons of support for this young man, Damien Nam.
Yeah, they always come out to support their lifters. Yeah,
They do.
You can always hear them.
You know, even if there's 3 of them, it sounds like there's 30 of them. Packed house, as I thought it would be. Squat, 3 white lights. And so far, we haven't seen anybody running too close to the limit with a grinder, and nobody's missed. Jonathan, holy smokes, the house is just lighting up.
You can tell when it's a Swedish lifter.
Yeah, the roof is going to cave in. Jonathan Soderling from Sweden. He's hit 275 kilo. 260 shouldn't be a great ask. A little shaky on the walkout.
Just being held at the top.
Yeah. See what they say. 3 white lights. Ulan Anwar from Kazakhstan, 2017 world champion, upsetting Brett Gibbs for the title. And if he has it his way, history's going to repeat itself. It came down to the last deadlift. You know, Brett has been waiting a long time to face this man again. The last man to defeat Brett Gibbs, 270 to kick it off. Ooh, that was untidy. What do you think happened
Yeah,
there?
a little bit of a twist through the middle there. Just lost a little bit of practice.
3 white lights. Let's take another look at that there. Yeah, maybe lost a little tension there. He got 3, but when you start twisting, you got to be careful because sometimes the hips don't go below the knee and it doesn't pass. Now, speaking of Brett Gibbs, 275 kilo on the bar. Brett had told me that walking into this, he was dealing with a little bit of tension in his one quad, and he's going to test that with his opener and take it from there. So this opener is going to be very interesting in how this goes, the speed, how comfortable he is with it. Brett also said this is his 9th world championships he's competing in. He's won 3 of them, and all the others, except for 1, he's come in 2nd. So always on the podium, constantly in the hunt. Poor guy always seems to be in the midst of a massive showdown as well. Depth is good. Moved well.
That was good, yeah. And he took his time on the setup there, you know, just settle the nerves, make sure that first lift.
Yeah, 3 whites. He's got a smile on his face, so if he was worried about how it felt good. You do see a bit of a tilt on the right side, and that was the quad that they were working. And look, a tilt is fine. If the bar path is up and down, as long as he doesn't overload that hard side, should be okay. Eric Carlson from Sweden.
See if we get some noise on this one.
Oh, I'm sure. We have 2 Swedes in this flight. We're due for some noise.
Yeah,
275. And these Swedes are in the mix. Remember, there are total medals, but there's also individual event medals. Depth is good. Holy, wow!
Smoked that, didn't he?
Listen, he just took the exact same weight as Brett Gibbs, no less, and did it better.
He did it easy.
You know the Swedes like that. Very fast, very easy, very smooth. Looked like a last opener. Tubal Fata of Algeria. I remember this young man from the 93 kilo class, I believe, last year in Calgary. And massive squatter. And he's dropped down a weight class. If he can bring the strength he had from a weight class up, he could shock a lot of people. He gave all the other 93s a big scare because it's hard to scout these lifters coming out of Algeria.
It's a slow one for an opener.
And you know what? Let's see what the judges say. 3 whites. That's exactly as I remember him. Squats were a little untidy. They looked laborious, but so strong. It's going to be a matter of attempt selection because he was a little wild last year. Obviously, he's got a year to think about it, but he was missing certain lifts and both a little more experience. He's coming in here now with that. He's definitely dangerous. 290 kilo opener for Russell Orhe. Previously, a 290 kilo opener in the 83 kilo class. Unthinkable, unfathomable. For Brett to be opening up at this, it's almost scary to think where he might go. Walks out very confidently. Oh,
Wow.
not a single expression on his face either. 3 white lights.
Yeah, that didn't trouble him at all, did it?
That was very little trouble, very little effort.
3.5 times body weight there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a stat for you. As an opener,
Yeah.
it's a little frightening. So Gibbs opting 285 for his second. Carlson 290. Fatah of Algeria 295. You know, it's very rare to see Gibbs in 4th in the lineup with squats. He's a current, well, I think he lost the world record since the last Worlds, but usually he's a world record holder and gold medalist. But you just got to stay consistent and not chase anyone else down. Now, 245 for Cathwe of Canada. Sinks it. Again, pretty
Yeah, that's
smooth.
nice for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots in the tank for Cathwe. 3 white lights. Jacek Spichala of Poland. 255 kilo being loaded for him. A welder, 41 years old, been competing 21 years. That's almost Russell Orhe's age. He's probably telling himself, oh my gosh, it doesn't get any easier every year, I'll tell you that. 15 kilo jump. And if you're wondering, Russell's going for 305.5 in his next attempt. It's a world record holder. So perhaps they're all going to be laborious like that, you know? 15 kilos, and I agree with you. The opener looked as though it was very difficult, judging by the facial expression. 15 kilo later, looks almost the
Pretty
exact
much the
same. He would be a tough guy to play poker with if you're trying to read his face. Here he comes, Mr. Intensity, Owen Hubbard, 267.5 kilo, 12.5 kilo jump from his opener. And what do you think this is going to look like?
I think this will be okay, actually. Yeah.
He's hit 277.5 previously. He gets a nice, tight setup. Very stable core. That's deep. That was work. Three white lights.
Maybe 5 kilos more in there.
Yeah, if you look at the replay, that's no question, but that was definitely work, wasn't it? I would say 5 kilo, any more than that, it's tempting fate. It's the difficult proposition because you want to get the most out of your lifter, but then you can't tilt over it.
Yeah.
So when you get greedy and load up a little, well, let's see if we can squeeze another kilo, or 2.5 kilos, if it were. 270, Yuri Rus from Slovenia. Best squat so far, 277.5 kilo in competition. We're floating under that. This could be an indication that he's going to look for a personal best.
Nice and controlled.
Yeah, he's always so slow and controlled. Tempos it down. 3 whites. Now, obviously, if that's how you load and feel most comfortable, you should do it. But when you're slowly dipping into the hole, judges got all day to scrutinize that depth.
Yeah, they can see it, and yeah, if you're there with the weight on your back for a good few seconds, it can play on your mind as well.
Yeah, especially under max load. Now, can you tell a Swedish lifter's about to hit the platform? Jonathan Soderling of Sweden, 272.5, about to enter into the 600-pound range. And how much do you think it affects a lifter to be lifting at home and have this kind of reception?
Oh yeah, it's got to be a huge buzz. Yeah, just to have that crowd behind you and, everyone's rooting for you gives you a really big lift.
3 white lights and loving the home court advantage. 275. Have we seen a failed lift yet?
One.
That might have been the other platform. I do see it on the scorecard as well. I don't think we've had one on our platform.
No.
275 for Isaac Bake. This will be a new Canadian record and a personal best for himself. Depth looks good. Oh, wow.
Good drive.
There was a day in age just a few years ago. I remember commentating for the Worlds, and we had maybe 2 lifters squatting in the 600s. Now I feel like the top 10. If you're not squatting in the 600s, you're falling behind.
Where are you? Yeah. Just shows how much the sport's come on in the past few years.
It's the amount of lifters just in the last few years. We've almost tripled in size, so the talent pool has swelled. Because of that, the standard has swelled. 275 as well. Damien Nam of Ireland, 25 years old. That looks good.
Looks good. He always looks slightly high on his right side.
But
it looks good from the side there.
Yeah. Do you think that might be his setup, or maybe it's one side a little tighter?
He's just got more mobility in one side. He can just sit into that side a little more comfortably.
And that's actually kind of common, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Some powerlifters are a lot tighter on one side.
Yeah, no one's 100%, symmetrical, but
Yep.
some more noticeably than others.
And it's a spectrum. No one's 100%, and some people are very much skewed. Ulan Anwar of Kazakhstan, 2017 world champion, back. He wants his title. And another win over Brett Gibbs, 277.5. And speaking of
Slightly skewed there as well.
Skewed bar path. 3 white lights. It's got to be difficult. So ordinarily, you want an up and down straight bar path line. How much more difficult is it when your bar path skews way over like that?
Well, it makes it a lot more difficult. You've got to fight against different forces. Ideally, you just want to be able to go straight up and down and put as a smaller moment arm as you can through the bar towards your body. So
it's definitely not efficient, that's for sure. 285, a man who knows efficiency in the squat. Brett Gibbs broken many a squat world record, claimed many a gold medal in the squat event. But his eyes are on the total. If some of these gentlemen are going to out-squat him today, he'll be fine with that. He's looking to add kilos to his total. 10 more kilos from his opener will help in that cause. 28 years old, 12 years in the game, 9 world championships, 3 world titles, and I'd be here all day if I tried to say all his world records. Depth looks good.
Yeah, that looks good. Pretty fast.
3 white lights, judges agree. And if the quad feels tight, maybe it's just helping him get tension. Because he certainly looks like he's squatting well. $290 kilo for Eric Carlson. A journalist.
So this will be a PB if he gets it.
Yeah, 4.5 kilo personal best. Judging by the increment of his previous personal best, this is probably a Swedish national record. Oh,
yeah.
290 as a second attempt, and he's riled up, and so is the crowd. These are second attempt weights. Where are we going to end up for thirds? What is going on in Helsingborg, Sweden? 295 being loaded on the bar for Tubal of Algeria. Fatah Tubal in the 93 kilo class last year in Calgary rattled the competition with the showing. Dropped down to 83, revealing an entirely new package here. 295 in this weight class is huge.
Yeah, it looks like that weight loss hasn't hurt him at all.
It appears not. He did it the proper way. We'll have to talk to his nutritionist. 10 kilo jump, see how he manages it.
Nope.
And those spotters are so good.
That was a very good catch there.
He was going to stay with it, but I think he got ejected by the weight. Once you lose the grip with your fingers, it just propels you forward.
Yeah, and you've got that rolling down your back then as well. So
yeah, we're seeing.
Yeah, his hands just went.
And those spotters all day, all week, right on them. That's a lot of weight to catch, and not a lot of time to make a move to do it. Best of the best spotting. It's actually a team from Czechia that travels with the IPF. And Russell Orhi, 305.5 kilo loaded on the bar for Russell. A world record attempt in his second attempt. Russell gaining some major ground in the squat event.
His first one moved really fast, so we'll see how this one goes.
If he moves this like a second should look, sky's the limit for his third. Deadly.
Wow.
Deadly. That is frightening. 3 white lights. And how is that a second attempt?
Yeah, that didn't trouble him at all, did it?
I honestly, I'm having a loss for words here. History being made on platform 1 right now. Kafui loading up 255 kilo for him. Kafui Hochoyami from Canada, 255 kilo, looking to go 3 for 3. Depth is good, and Hochoyami grinds it out. 3 white lights, and he goes 3 for 3 in the squats. Nicely selected attempt selection by the Canadians. New personal best for Kafui. And Jacek Spichala will take 262.5 kilo, 7.5 kilo jump. And based off his facial expressions, this is going to be tough. Based off his bar speed, knows. You know, he has hit 300 previously. The strength is there. Oh, it looks like he might have cut that shy, though. What do you think?
I think he might just get it. Let's see. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
2-1. It looked about the same as the other two as well.
See the side view. Yeah, it's right on that line. Well, the strike zone has been established. That's a baseball term. You guys watch baseball in Wales?
I've got no idea.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'll just smile and nod.
That's right. Okay. Well, speaking of Wales, perfect segue here. Mr. Intensity, Owen Hubbard.
He's actually a completely different person off the platform.
Always
He's
love
the
him.
most laid-back person you've
Yeah. Right on cue, he's shouting. He has hit 277.5, 2.5 kilo below that. 10 kilo jump from his second, though, and his second was definitely work. Oh, wow! You know, he just stays in the pocket, even when it's hard and heavy, never gets bullied by the weight, and just drives upwards. You could see his body shaking, the engine was revving, refused to let his knees cave in, refused for his elbows to go back. $277.5, Jonathan Soderling of Sweden. Looking to go 3 for 3, and you know, we've had very few missed attempts so far, even though we've had some huge attempts. Those deep. Oh. 3 white lights. I feel like, you know, sometimes 1 or 2 guys are having the day of their life, all hitting PRs. Then you see some magic from them. Sometimes some people are well below their personal best. Is it just me, or is everybody hitting the platform having the day of their life?
Everyone seems to be doing really well.
Jure Rus of Slovenia, 277.5. This will equal his personal best. So
Again, nice and controlled.
That looks good to me. How about you?
Yeah, good one. Good one.
And he equals his personal best. You know, it's hard to gauge if he should have went heavier because it's always so slow. If you're trying to gauge on bar speed, good luck. If you're trying to gauge on facial expression, it doesn't change.
Yeah, he's giving nothing away there, isn't he?
Giving nothing away. 280. Damien Nim of Ireland, 5 kilo jump. Previously in competition, his best was 272.5. We're already past that. That looks good. Whoa. And he goes 3 for 3. Judges agree. You know, I feel like usually when you're trying to gauge third attempts, at least some of the time, they exceed and go over the attempt selection by the coaching staff so far. Right on the money.
On point, yeah.
And some of them not a kilo more, and it would have been too much. They're getting everything out of their lifters. And when this is the case, it's going to be a battle right to the end now. Ulan Anwar, who has a monster deadlift, coming out with 282.5, 277.5. Really start helicoptering for him. He needs to be efficient with this one. He got away with it in his opener and his second.
Yeah, that little twist is too much this time.
It twisted on the bottom this time, too. Like, if you're going to twist that lockout when most of the work's already done, a little easier to get away with. When you hit the whole of the squat and twist right there, you know, under max load, no less.
You've got a lot of work to do to get out.
Yeah. Like you said, a lot of forces working against each other. You need that straight bar path. 282.5, Isaac Bake. We're going again way over his previous best. He is shooting, and he's shooting high. Wants to shoot up the rankings of the squats from 10th to 5th if he hits this.
Oh! Big push. Oh.
Wow, I thought for a half a second.
He's going to bring his chest up and drive through.
Yeah. The elbow shot back, the chest dropped, and it was, you know, I thought it was over, and then he moved another wrench like that. I was like, oh, wow. Just reaching a little too far. Brett Gibbs, 295. There are 3 other lifters squatting 295. If Brett hits and they miss, he's right behind Russell, and he's fine with that because he's going to gain a lot of ground on the bench press. If all 3 of those lifters hit, well, Brett's not used to possibly not making a podium on squat. That would be almost unfathomable to me if there's a squat podium and Brett's not on it. Stranger things have happened. 295, 10 kilo jump. We thought 285 moved well.
Yeah, they look good.
10 kilo is certainly reasonable and within Brett's reach. It's something he's hit before.
A little work, but he got it.
Attempt selection was right on the money. I think 2.5 kilo more. If he got greedy, he might have missed it. Look, if Brett is a consummate professional here. He sees, yes, I'm not used to having other gentlemen squatting right alongside me. Yes, I'm not used to having somebody squatting almost 10 kilo more than me. However, I'm going to stay in the pocket, do my thing. If certain people hit, certain people miss, at the end of the day, if I go 9 for 9, I'm confident my 9 for 9 stacks up. And that's where you don't want to chase anybody. Let them play their game, you play yours. And Brett is playing the game well, 3 for 3. And thus far, that moves him in number 1 position. No, it's 2, sorry. Obviously, Russell with the world record. 295 for Erik Karlsson of Sweden.
He smoked that one too. They've all moved really well for him today.
Look at how confident he is, as he should be.
drawing energy from the crowd.
Look, he just bumped ahead of Brett. When they put up the podium at the end of the day, he took Brett's medal. How often do you say that? Futa Tubla of Algeria. Fata Tubla of Algeria, sorry. Missed 295, and it kind of hit the ejection button on him, didn't it?
It did. Yeah.
Propelled him forward. He was told, please, if possible, stay with the bar. The spotters are excellent, but let's not test the reflexes too much. I'm sure he'll do his best. And if you notice, these spotters and loaders are huge. I think it's a little shy.
Yeah, just
Like,
a little bit high there.
when you got ejected like that, it can make you a little shy. Make you squat a little
Oh, no,
conservative.
he's got it.
Well, what do we know? Let's take a look at this replay. Might look better from the side. Oh,
I think that's right on the line there.
you're being nice, but And Russell Orhe of the U.S., 313 kilo, 690 pounds for our friends in the U.S.
So yeah, Brett's being pushed out of the medals there.
Brett is not going to make the squat medal podium for the first time since I've been commentating, and it's been a few years. This is going to take a Titanic effort. 305.5, moved well. But this is quite the jump. Russell is rewriting history and moving weights. Gentlemen in the 105 would love to move. Whoa! Oh my
fighting.
goodness! He's done
Oh,
it!
wow.
313 by an 83 kilo lifter. 3 white lights. Whoa! Squat history being made. And that's Joey Flex, his coach, and the American staff. Just another look on the replay of the biggest squat. And I don't even know, I'm a little at a loss for words here. That 313 in the 83 kilo class, we've never seen anything even close to that previously. It might be pound for pound the biggest squat I've ever seen anybody hit.
Yeah, certainly the biggest squat I've ever seen. You know,
I
an
mean,
83 hit is incredible.
Yeah, to do that a weight class up would be competitive and could be squat gold. To do that 2 weight classes up is highly competitive. What Russell Orhe's doing, he came into the tournament with a lot of hype, and he's living up to the hype. Now, having said that, it's a long day. We all knew Russell was a big squatter. The bench press is another game. Brett, who for the first time got bumped off the podium in squats, is usually on the podium for bench. I say usually because now I don't know what to expect. He's also very consistent with his deadlifts. It's a long day, and it's about who has the biggest total after 9 attempts. What are your thoughts leading into the bench press? We do have the rematch between Gibbs and Owen Hubbard, who battled for the gold last year.
Yeah, I think Owen's got a really good chance in this one,
I
without
think-
giving too much away.
Well, there you have it. Straight out of Wales, she's got a good scouting report. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 20 minutes. Welcome back to the 2019 IPF Classic World Championships. Six-pack lap of that, Sabrina Moore. And we saw history made already in the squat event. Russell Orhe came in with high expectations. And do you think he might have met them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
Which one am I?
You can grab the microphone
Thank
there. Yeah, it was, when you see something like that, and you're riding a big high, now there's a quick turnaround here for the bench press. He's a fair bench presser, but he's not wanting to keep up and try to chase Brett Gibbs. I think in the squat event, Brett Gibbs showed a lot of maturity as a lifter, and it's something he brings. I had spoken about how 9 world championships, won 3 world titles, and that's where it shows. Never before had Brett been bumped off the podium for squats. I seen him in the warm-up room. First thing he said to me was, pretty heavy squats, hey. It seems like that just the competition levels have risen. However, to win it, it's based off a total, not individuals, and you can concede certain medals as long as you're always near the top. So this is really where Brett's trying to piece together his day. Is he going to cover the gap in the bench press? It's starting to be a bit of a wider gap than we anticipated.
Yeah. If you come in with a game plan, it's best just to stick with that game plan, and do what you know you can do.
And just like Brett showed poise and maturity, not chasing in the squat, sticking to his game plan, Russell will do the same. Brett will pull ahead, and Russell needs to stick to his game plan, pick up his kilos, and then it comes down to the deadlifts. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Starting off in the bench press event, Sweden's own Erik Karlsson, 140 kilo on the bar for him. Erik Karlsson, a journalist, and if he covers sports, he's got a lot to write about tonight. The crowd oohing and awing. I love how into it they are. Very seldom does a bench press opener get such reviews.
Yeah, they're really with him on that one, aren't they?
Absolutely. 140 stays on the bar for Jonathan Soderling of Sweden. Should be noted, so in terms of the bench press openers, with the bench press, you need the points of contact, your feet flat, butt on the bench, shoulders on the bench, head on the bench. You have 3 commands as opposed to 2 for the squat and only 1 for the deadlift. It's one of the lifts that's a lot easier to lose due to all these regulations on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of regulations and also a lot of technique to the bench as well. It's the most technical of the lifts. So if you get something, slightly wrong with the technique, it can throw your whole bench.
Well said, because and 3 white lights for Jonathan, because you have the lever being your arm, the fulcrum of the lever being your shoulder, but the touch point is far away, where just below the chest. So to get that fulcrum of the lever under the touch point requires a very big setup, a specific bar path, and when you have all of these intangibles put together, very easy to lose a lift. And for me, I believe the bench press opener is probably the most nerve-wracking opener because so many things could go wrong. 150, Damien Nam of Ireland.
Yeah, that moved nicely. Yes. And as you were saying, you really do want a nice opener, just to settle the nerves, and then you can build your confidence as you go through your second and third attempts then.
Yeah, it's a bit of because you come on such a high from squats. I think everybody felt that. And when you go into bench openers, you don't want to expend too much. You only have so much energy, so much excitement you could bring. And Kafui, going over how he wants to hand off, very important. Don't assume they know. 150 kilo for Kafui. The spotting loading team is Czech spotters team, IPF. And they're actually professional spotters and loaders. Oh, that's a pretty nice.
Really good, yeah.
Smooth bench.
Yeah, I believe the loaders have been together so long they don't even need to talk to each other anymore. They just, they're eye contact and they know what they're doing.
They're on the same page. They can load a bar in and out like one of those racing teams in the pit stop.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that in Wales,
Yeah.
Britt? Okay. Making sure I need some more international references, I think. 155 for Yuri Rus of Slovenia. Now we're getting into, so you see the setup. He's trying to get his shoulders tucked under where the touch point would be. You're going to be able to generate more force with your press. It's a lot more kind on your shoulders, and it mitigates the range of motion.
Nice, easy opener there as well.
Yeah. And so far, all the opening attempts, I think we'd have to agree with. Jacek Spichala of Poland, 160 kilo for his opener. "21 years competitive powerlifting." And what were you doing 21 years ago, Sabrina?
It was in year 2, so that's 7.
Nice lift, green white lights. $165 being loaded for Isaac Bate. He's hit 177 and a half. So they should be within reason. In terms of incremental jumps, bench press is also the one you got to be careful. If nothing else, the brakes come on quickly. That move was pretty well. Blue white lights. So far, so good. Fatah Tugla of Algeria, 177.5 for him. He's hit 180. Just 2.5 kilo close to his personal best. And amongst the lifts, if you're dropping a weight class, I think the bench press sometimes is impacted the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Losing that body weight and upper body mass can really impact how much weight you can move on the press.
Mm-hmm. Something about having the bar over your chest when you're a smaller human being.
Yeah, it's got longer to travel.
Yep. Opting to use the blocks to push off of. He gets it. It's worked, but he gets it. Now he's going to want to be careful in terms of his attempt selection.
Yeah, sometimes if you're really fast on the descent, you can take the ref a bit by surprise.
Yeah.
It's a little bit longer to get that press command.
Yeah, because you do need the bar motionless on your chest to get that press command. So in terms of the 3 commands, you have the start command, and again, they want all points of contact: feet, butt on the bench, shoulders on the bench, head on the bench. And they also want your elbows locked out. Then you'll get the start command. You bring it to your chest. When it is motionless on your chest, you get the press command. If that takes 3 seconds, if that takes half a second, that's how long it takes.
So one of the rules is that you have to cover you see the little rings on the bar there, you have to cover those with your finger and your thumb. If you're not covering those, then you won't get the press command, or the start command even.
There's another one for you.
Maybe just threw him a little bit there.
Yeah, it might have, especially if he was worried about getting his setup on time and rushed it. You do only have 1 minute. And to get the rack command, the last command, you just need your elbows locked. And then they'll give it to you. 182.5 for Russell Orhe. Now, Russell has a workable bench. He's not going to go toe-to-toe with Owen Hubbard or Brett Gibbs, but he's been working hard on it. It's been increasing, and he really just wants to hold serve. He understands he'll fall behind in the bench press. He'll lose a little ground he covered. He's not trying to chase. Very nice bench. That was smooth and what you want an opener look like. Taking no chances. He does have a squat world record. If you bomb, and judging by how they're attempting the openers, it's very unlikely he's going to bomb. But if you do, any world records you would hit in the competition no longer stand. 200 kilo for Brett. And this is where consistency is going to pay off.
I think he actually increased his opener from what he had originally put in, so he must have been feeling good in warm-up.
Nice eyes, eagle eyes on there. If he hits this, he'll be just half a kilo in the subtotal behind Orhi. And that's a quick game of catch-up with your opening bench. Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, empty bar there.
And he looks fired up. And just like that, all the fine work Orhi did, and Brett is already nipping on his heels. Subtotal 495.5, subtotal 495 even. Do you think Brett has another half kilo in him? It's gonna be tight. It's gonna come right down to the deadlift, probably the very last one. And he likes to get a good sniff of the bench. It's his ritual, isn't it? 205 for Owen Hubbard. If any man's going to out-bench press Brett Gibbs, this is him. Toe-to-toe, and that moved just as well as Brett's. And this is where you're starting to see having a consistent game and being consistently good in all three lifts really pay off, because despite being out-squatted by a decent sum, Owen is now in third position.
Yeah, he's made up a lot of room there on the bench.
He doesn't need to be at the top of the squats. He's just got to hang tight, cover ground in the bench press. 145 for Jonathan Soderling of Sweden. 5 kilo jump for him. Soderling, 3 white lights. And we see pretty pinpoint accuracy with attempt selection. Most of these individuals only missing if on the third, and not by a lot. Eric Carlson of Sweden, 147.5, 7.5 kilo jump. This will equal his personal best.
Blue as well. About the same as his opener.
Yeah, I would have to agree. That could easily have passed as an opener. How much of a jump do you anticipate from the Swedes?
Same again, I think.
Yeah?
Could definitely do that.
And 157.5 for Damien Nim of Ireland. 7.5 kilo jump. Nice bench. 3 white lights. And if you're interested, the current world record is 214.5. Wales' own Owen Hubbard, and I got to say that because you're in the booth with me. Wales' own Owen Hubbard electing 215.5. He wants to take the chip. 215 is a normal incremental jump, so he's going up a whole nother kilo over that world record, so he keeps the chip. 160 for Cathway. And that moved very well as well. An easy 10-kilo jump, which is a big jump in the bench press. Looks like he's got a lot in the tank. Yuri Rus from Slovenia. 7.5-kilo jump.
His squat was nice and controlled, wasn't it? See if he has the same control on the bench.
If it's controlled like that, down to the chest, he's going to get a very quick press command. Patience with this man's squat. That's to say the least. Yeah, that's the way he works. Smooth operator, and that was a quick turnaround with the press command. Yeah, 3 white lights. Adds another 7.5 kilo onto his total. Jacek Spichala of Poland. 10-kilo jump. And so far, have we seen a missed lift on this platform? Nicely done.
No, I don't think we have.
3 white lights. You know, usually you see people missing lifts and their shakeups. The coaching staffs are so dialed in with their attempt selection. It's going to lead to some truly epic totals based off the subtotal already in the projected. Russell's pacing for an 8:03. And he's only begun. That was a very nice press as well. 7.5 kilo handle quite nicely. We haven't even seen a lot of grinders yet. I'm not sure. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's entirely possible we see our first 800 kilo and up totals for a podium in the 83 kilo class. If that's the case, this is by far the hardest and deepest 83 kilo open class we've seen at the IPF World Championships. Judging by the squat event we've seen, it could be a pretty sure bet. 182.5, 5 kilo jump from his opener, 2.5 kilo personal best. Oh, wow.
I didn't think that was going to go.
No. He is all types of strong. It looked like it misgrooved off his chest, but he was strong enough to press through it. Yeah, that was
he kind of threw that back.
He threw it back a little too quick, but such a strong man. Yulan Anwar of Kazakhstan, 2017 world champion.
So he got pulled up on his hands the first time round.
That's right.
So we'll see.
Let's see if he makes the adjustments here. 7.5 kilo jump from his opener. It was work, but he got it. Perhaps a more conservative jump for his third. And And Russell Orhi had absolutely no big ass for 182.5. 190 should definitely be there, and I like the pacing the Americans are taking. I like the fact that they're allowing him a little bit of breathing room. You know he expended a lot for those 2 back-to-back world records, not just physically speaking, taxing on the nervous system, but even the excitement he had to expel. And you only have so much. Give him a little breathing room. 190 is not a big ass for Russ. He doesn't need to get all wild up. And there you go. His bench press is coming along nicely in terms of improvements. 3 white lights. What do you think kind of a jump they're going to take?
Maybe a 5 kilo jump.
5 kilos?
7.5 jump, but good for the last one.
Probably 5 kilo is around 85 percentile of hitting. 7.5, you're teetering around more of a 50-50 proposition, but...
Yeah, 2.5 kilos can make a really big difference in the bench. So.
Absolutely, when it comes to the bench press. 210, 10 kilo jump for Brett. This would, for the first time in the competition, put him in the lead. It's very rarely Brett isn't in the lead. He's been behind all day. And this one press, Brett moves ahead. Uh-oh.
So I think his arms aren't locked out there, so you need your elbows locked straight.
He's got 12 seconds.
Start command.
This isn't good.
So.
That was not the script. And it's a little thing like that that can shake you up, because in the bench press, this is where Brett is going to cover his ground. That was 10 kilo he needs. I just set it up. It was for the first time he would take the lead, and now...
You cursed him.
Oh, oh no, Brett.
Go Owen.
215.5 for Owen Hubbard. 10.5 kilo jump, a world record attempt. Brett, by the way, is going to retake 210. I think it's a good decision. Oh.
Yeah.
He wants to see locked
Locked
elbows. 20 seconds. Yep, he's got a lot more time than Brett.
One time for that press.
Look at, you had said earlier, when it comes to the bench press, it is such a technical lift. It is hard to set up. You've seen, usually they have a 30-second setup, and if you try to turn it around in 10 to 15 seconds and rush an intricate setup like that, very difficult to pull it off. And this is a bit of a shakeup for both those individuals, because both Brett and Owen usually get a lot of kilos towards their total from their bench press. Now they got to retake their second attempt weight. And this is how the game goes. That's sports 147.5 for Jonathan Soderling of Sweden. Nicely done. Handles that well, just picks himself up a personal best. 152.5 for Eric Carlson of Sweden. A 5-kilo jump from 147.5 and a 5-kilo personal best. Look at all the Swedish people in the crowd. It's a packed house.
Yeah, I think I said 7.5. I thought he had 7.5 kilos more after that second one. So
let's see if he gets it. I got a feeling if he does, you're going to tell me he had 2.5 kilo room to spare. Nicely done. Nicely done. 3 white lights. What do you think? 2.5 kilo more? Was that?
I think, yeah, 2.5 might have been pushing it.
Yeah. After seeing it?
Yeah.
A 2.5 kilo jump for Damian Dam. Previous attempt was 157.5, and that was the heaviest he'd ever hit. Looking for a new personal best. Now I think everybody's paying close attention to the elbow lockout. Some people don't always have entirely straight arms, and that's fine, as long as they think it's locked to the best of your ability. 2 to 1 is good enough.
Yeah, the arms don't have to be hyperextended, locked, just straight.
And some people can't fully lock out their arms, and that's okay, but they need to see that's the most of your extension. Kafui, Hochiyami. $165. This will be a 5 kilo personal best. The way 160 moved, it looks like it should be in the tank.
It's got a long way for that bar to travel.
Yeah, he's got deadlift arms. Wait till you see him pull. You're going to be impressed. 3 white lights. And I tell you what, 5 kilo personal best. Looks like you need even more in the tank. Yuri Rus from Slovenia. 5 kilo jump. 2.5 kilo best if he gets it. Yuri, a slow, patient lifter. Likes to load it up, bring it down controlled. We anticipate a pretty quick press command due to that. In terms of getting the bar resting and no longer in motion, it's barely in motion on the way down, so slow. Very controlled. Oh, nope.
I think he just needed to push it back a little bit more.
Let's take a look from this side. J6, Pachala, Poland. 175 kilo in the bar, 5 kilo jump for him. $41 years old. And still right in the mix. Did he jump that press?
I think he jumped that.
You know, when it comes to that, it's so loud in here. The ref saying press nose, but the other two may not be able to hear. Isaac Bake, 177.5, looking equal his personal best. He hit this at the Canadian Nationals, but that was only a couple months ago. And bench can be slow gains because in terms of percentage jump, 5 kilos big. Moved well. You know what? 2.5 kilo might have been there if you wanted a personal best, but 20/20 hindsight.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta play it safe and
every kilo counts.
build your total.
And Fatah Tubal of Algeria, 185 kilo, 2.5 kilo jump. Now we thought 182 kilo. It cut a little early. The bar path was off, but he was so strong he could bring himself upright, and he got the lift. He has all types of strong, raw power. If he gets the proper bar positioning, This might even move better in the second attempt. Same thing happened
Managed
again.
to muscle that one too.
Yeah. Strength for days in that, man. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, it cuts over very sharply right up the chest. 192.5 for Ulan Anwar of Kazakhstan. 5 kilo jump. He's got a phenomenal deadlift, and he's going to need it. No, this is too much. Yeah. So he misses third squat, misses third bench. Things aren't going quite the script, but a gentleman like him, when it comes to the deadlift, can pull it out. He's always in medal contention due to his deadlift, because he has the ability, if he pulls after you, load the bar with what he needs, and try to take your medal. Russell Orhe from the U.S., 195. Judging by how 190 moves, I'm thinking this is about as close to a sure thing as you're going to get. But I've been wrong before, haven't I?
Yeah, you never know with bench, do you?
Nope. 5 kilo comes on quick. And he gets it. You know what?
I think that's good.
5 kilo was right on the money. 2.5 kilo more if they got greedy would have been a little too much. You know, the way 190 moved, it would have been tempting. It would have been tempting, but just like Brett stayed in the pocket to his game plan for squats, Russell and the Americans showing maturity and staying in the pocket to the game plan and bench. And Brett Gibbs needs this 210. This is 10 kilo he needs towards his total. If he hits this, he's not going to be in the lead again. He wanted to take the lead in bench. He was right there, but he will be closer. He'll be within 3 kilo on subtotal with Orhe. It's going to turn into a deadlift battle.
See if he gets those arms locked.
And Brett's got to keep his composure because it ain't over yet.
Still got time.
He's still got time. He needs these 10 kilo. If he falls behind another 10. Oh, and he does it.
Good speed.
He does it. Not a moment to spare. 3 white lights. And Brett Gibbs pulls within 3, and the deadlift battle is set. Brett wanted to pull ahead. Now they're neck and neck. It's going to be tight. Now, can Owen Hubbard do what Brett just did and bounce back 215.5? It's a world record. Well, let's hope he gets the elbows locked. Here comes Mr. Intensity. Thumbs up. I don't know if it's to the spotters or to the judge. Don't worry. I'll watch my elbows. Thank you.
I think he's got enough experience to make the adjustment that he needs.
And he makes the adjustment. 215.5, and he's riled up. A new world record. Gold medal in bench. 3 white lights. Oh. And it's a little, almost all too exciting. In terms of drama, we told you we'd have big lifts. You never can tell about the drama. You never can tell if everybody's going to perform. And wow, is everybody performing?
Yeah, it's been really exciting to watch everyone so far. And you never know until the deadlifts, do you, what's going to happen. So.
And never more so than right now, Brett Gibbs was hoping to pull ahead. He was in a position on his second bench. If he hit that for the first time in the competition, he would have pulled ahead of Russell. I think the Americans were expecting it, and clearly Brett was expecting it. However, as we go into the deadlifts, Brett is still trailing by 3 kilo. When it comes to matching the deadlifts, these guys are almost dead even. Who is going to break away? It'll come down to attempt selection and maybe some strong bluffs. It's as much to do with the coaching staff as it is to the lifters. And Owen Hubbard, Wales' own, bench pressing himself into third. We'll have to see how it all shakes up. I don't know. What do you think? Is it going to come down to the last deadlift?
I hope so.
I hope so.
Exciting.
Almost guaranteed. Six-pack lap of that. Sabrina Moore. See you in 20 minutes. welcome back to the 2019 World Classic Powerlifting Championships, where Owen Hubbard is going to start off the deadlifts with 267.5 kilos. Nicely done. So Owen gained some ground in the bench press. He's a fair squatter, but he's going to lose a little bit of that ground in the deadlifts. And Isaac Bake is going to take 280 kilo for his opener. Previous personal best is 300 kilo. This is 220 kilo, sorry, below that. And no one's really going to take too much of a risk with their opener. Nicely. As soon as they get this, their totals are automatically secure, and you're at no longer risk of bombing out. So then you can start making your jumps. You don't want to do any gambling with your opener, try to cover any ground. It's a little early in the deadlift party. Fatah Toubal of Algeria, 280 kilo for him.
Yeah, deadlift's really one of my my favorite lifts.
Yeah, to perform or to watch?
Both.
Both, yes, same. All types of strong. Particularly, wow, he's so graceful putting it down, so nice.
Gentle, yeah.
Like putting a baby to bed. A gentle giant, 3 whites. Yeah, the deadlifts, because you could really grind out an attempt if you need to, it can be pretty dramatic stuff. J6 Pachali of Poland, 280 kilo opener for him.
Nice sumo setup.
Yeah, the sumo is a very technical pull. Do you pull sumo?
No, I'm conventional.
Same here.
Grip and rip.
Okay. It helps if the levers, and that's 3 white lights, good for him. It helps for sometimes in terms of levers, obviously range of motion, etc. But it's a bit of a balancing act. Literally at the top, you can see some big pulls, and if you dip forward at the top, because you're slightly off balance with the toes pointed outwards, you can lose your lift. 290 on the bar for Damien Nam of Ireland.
Yeah, sometimes if a sumo lifter loses their balance, you can see their body dips forward, but the bar doesn't move. As long as that bar doesn't go down, then it's still a good lift.
That's right.
That was easy.
Yeah, so far, everyone is right on point with their openers and pretty much all their attempt selections. He's pulled 317.5. This should be a smooth opener for him. And you probably would have assumed a little slow.
Yeah, a little bit slow. Sometimes with the sumo, you have to be patient to try and break the floor. It's a little bit slow coming off the floor, but you expect it to speed up then towards lockout.
And
that was a little bit slow.
He's been, somewhat slow and deliberate with his lifts, so 295 opener for calf weave.
He hasn't got his belt.
Uh-oh. Hopefully he doesn't have to go too far back for it. That was almost a beltless pull. He's got time. It's a dramatic opener, but he is a conventional puller.
Just needs to calm those nerves a little bit.
Yeah. Plenty of time, actually. That was easy. That was almost leisurely.
I think he needed the belt for that one.
He might not have needed it. He's like, no, I left it on purpose. I guess I could get it if you want me to. 300 kilos for Eric Carlson of Sweden. And whenever a Swedish slipper hits the platform, he drinks in the applause like a thirsty man, and why not? Had a phenomenal squat, 295 kilo. Opening up with a 300 kilo deadlift. Oh my gosh.
That was nice. There's a lot of room to put more weight on that one.
There is a lot of room, and I am interested in seeing where our deadlifts end up if they're moving like that. Jonathan Soderling of Sweden, also opening at 300 kilo even. The two Swedes who make good training partners. A little bit more work. Definitely a little more work.
Yeah,
A little more than you would
a little
expect in
harder
an
in
opener.
one.
They're going to want to be careful in terms of his next jump. Here comes Brett Gibbs now. I told you that he and Brett are going to be neck and neck with the deads. They're both opening up exactly 302.5. Eventually, someone's going to have to pull ahead. Pardon the pun.
And it's going to be a little game of chicken, I think, with the weight selection here.
Definitely.
It's nice and smooth.
If you're looking for any indication where Brett's ceiling is today, you're going to have to keep looking. No indication there. It's nice they're actually going one after the other because we have the opportunity to compare their openers side by side.
And Russell's got the advantage of the high lot number.
Very true. Russell also weighed a bit lighter, so Brett can't tie him in total. He must surpass him by 2.5 kilos. Couple advantages in Russell's favor. Oh. Again, no ceiling in sight based off that.
How do you split those?
I mean, it's how do you move ahead? It's a gamble. I don't even know how to call this.
So I think the coaches be watching each other now.
I do not envy them having to decide the attempt selection based off that. 310, Yulan Anwar of Kazakhstan. And it's good. 3 white lights. And everybody's on the bar, or everybody's on the board. And 285 being loaded for Owen Hubbard. $17.5 kilo jump. This equals his previous best. Let's hope his deadlifts have been going good in training, because he's going to need to pull more than this.
Come on, Owen. Lock it.
Oh, no. Looked at his hands. Something happened with his grip right at lockout. Came off the ground nice. And when he tried to pull the shoulders back, he looked down at his hand even before.
His grip was going. When your grip's going, it's really hard to just pull your shoulders back without the bar slipping out.
Isaac Bake of Canada, 292.5. Moves it quite well. And that's 12.5 more kilo towards his total. 295 for Spichala of Poland. 15 kilo jump from his opener. And looking ahead, surprise, surprise, Brett Gibbs and Russell Orhe, 3:15 each for their second. Neither man's blinking, but if they continue this pace, Russell's like, hey, that's good. I'm 3 kilo ahead. You're the one who's got to pull more of me.
It looks slow off the floor, but the knockout was good.
Yeah, 295 in the books for him. 15 more kilo for his total. Fatah Touba of Algeria. 300 kilo even. 20 kilo jump. And big jumps in the deadlifts are quite common from the opener to the seconds. Deadlifts really sap the central nervous system, especially when you're shifting this kind of weight. 20 kilo isn't quite as impactful as in with the lighter weight classes. And these fellas are shifting a lot of weight. Oh, small dip. See if it's just his body.
Down there. Yeah.
Three whites. We'll take a look at the replay. It might have just been his body. Like you said, your body can dip, the bar can. Yeah, it's just his knees locked out a little awkwardly. 302.5 for Yuri Rus in Slovenia. Slow off the floor, but once he gets it going.
Gets it.
Blue white lights. 12.5 more kilo for him. 305 for Damien Nam of Ireland. 15 kilo jump. This is going to equal his personal best. We're going to get a good indication here. Is he getting ambitious, equaling his personal best in his second attempt?
So you can see he uses a hook grip.
Yep, double overhand hook grip. It's it hurts the thumbs, but what are the advantages to the hook grip?
So your thumb goes in between the bar and your fingers, which means it's a lot harder to lose grip. We saw Owen lose his grip. He was a mixed grip, one hand under, one hand over. But with a hook grip, that's the strongest grip.
And here comes Jonathan Soderling of Sweden. 307.5, 7.5 kilo jump. We thought 300 was a little shaky on the opener. See if you can make an adjustment. Just like a lockout. He does it. White lights. Here comes Cathwey from Canada. 312.5 on the bar for him. Five kilo below his personal best. He is the Canadian national record holder for deadlifts. .5 in the books.
And he does that with all his back there almost.
Yeah.
It's good. Strong back.
Very strong back. 315 being loaded for Brett Gibbs. And he's in the middle of a deadlift battle of his life. with Russell Orhe.
He's got a cheering squad.
Kid in the crowd like we're at a football game. The crowd's behind him. He acknowledges with a thumbs up. Here he comes. They're chanting BG, Brett Gibbs. One of the most important deadlifts of his life. If he misses this, he may be too far behind, too far back. But he doesn't miss.
That was nice and smooth.
315's on the board.
And he wanted to make that look easy, you know, Russell, he's watching.
Ball is in your court now, sir. Russell Orhe has 315 on the bar. Same situation. And I must say, finally, for the first time, Brett has pulled himself into the lead in this competition. Now Russell can quickly regain that lead should he hit this deadlift. Same situation again, the most important deadlift of his life. Cannot afford to miss. And Missy doesn't. If I'm honest,
that looked easy.
If I'm honest, that looked frighteningly easy. And he regains the lead.
So Brett's put in 350 as his third attempt, which I think is a placeholder.
Well, one would hope. 317.5 for Eric Carlson of Sweden. 17.5 kilo jump. That's an ambitious jump. Do they like it? They do. 3 white lights. Drinking in the cheers like a thirsty man. 320 for Ulan Anwar from Kazakhstan. And we're already over 700 pounds, and it's the second attempts. I have never seen this before in the 83 kilo class at the Worlds. But the same could have been said for the squats. This is all unprecedented. Nope.
It's just not moving.
Not today. And we're going to go back. 295. Third attempts now. Owen Hubbard, Wales' favorite son. The Prince of Wales putting 10 kilo on despite missing. What do you think?
I think, you know, if he can hold his grip, I think he's got this. He has to pull it.
Yeah. He's probably telling himself, if he hits this, he puts himself, if temporarily, on the podium, and he's kind of throwing it out there. You guys have to all hit your thirds and knock me off the podium. The percentages of hitting on thirds is rather low. It's his only path to getting a medal, and it starts right here.
Come on, Owen.
He pulls this, his medal hopes survive. For him, for Wales, for Britain.
Come on.
Oh, it's better! Oh, the grip again. Same hand, same grip. Couldn't get the shoulder back.
Oh, he gave it everything.
That moved fast, and he was just that lockout, and the same hand gave way on him. Of course, if anything ever got torn the first time around, hanging out to grip would be difficult. 302.5 for the Canadian Isaac Bake. Looking to make a 2.5 kilo personal best and a 4.5 kilo best on total. three for three in the deadlifts. Nice way to finish your day. He'll also move up a ranking to 7th. Do they like his shoulders?
Hips through. Shoulders back? No.
It was close. It was close. Canadian coaching staff debating coming to the jury table. He was looking over for some, reading their faces, but they got poker faces. And he went back to the warm-up room. 305 for Jacek Spichala of Poland. 10-kilo jump, and we're starting to see misses from a crowd that was not missing. Last deadlifts are notorious for failed attempts, are they not?
Yeah, they are. I mean, you've used up a good deal of your energy by your last deadlift.
You hit. I think
That
would have been
was a double pull there.
Not going to let that happen. And if you hit your third, it's a complete shakeup. Look at this. Brett Gibbs puts a placeholder 350 because you're allowed to change your last deadlift twice. Or he says, I'll see your placeholder and raise you 5 kilos, sir. 355. Now somebody's going to move because these gentlemen are not coming out attempting 350, 355.
Someone's got to call someone else's bluff.
That's right. It's a poker game right now. Who's blinking? 307.5 for Rus of Slovenia. 5-kilo jump. Oh, it's worked though. Not today.
This is also why you don't want to open too heavy on your deadlifts. You don't want to be pulling 3 singles close to 100%.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
If you know where you want to end up, pace yourself. Don't put it something like, well, if I miss my second and third, I want my opener to be high enough to contribute to your total. It's faulty thinking.
Yeah, you need to conserve your energy. Make sure that first one.
Because that actually increases the chances of missing your third deadlift if you've already pulled 3 times very heavy. 310 for Damien Nam of Ireland. And nobody has hit their third dead despite a high success rate earlier in this competition. Whoever does is going to break ahead of the pack. Not going to start here. Well, if the coaching staff anywhere in the back room are learning anything, you might want to adjust your third attempts while you have the chance. 317.5, and by the way, we'll update you on who blinks first, Gibbs or Orhi. Neither of them have yet. Gibbs still 3 kilo behind. Gibbs weighed in heavier. He can't match, although Orhi has a chip regardless, so he couldn't match his total. You would think it would be Gibbs who has to blink first because he has to lift more. 317.5 for Fatah Tubal of Algeria. 17.5 kilos jump from his third. Will he be the first person to successfully get his third attempt? A sea of green is turning to a sea of red in his thirds. He seems to think he's got it.
There.
I'm not sure if there's a down up. Good enough. And there you have it. 317.5. It's a big dead.
Yeah, if you can get your last deadlift, you're in with a good shout of moving up a couple of places.
Apparently, because everyone else seems to be falling, and the weight is only getting heavier. 317.5, Jonathan Soderling of Sweden. $10-kilo jump for the Swede. Will he answer the crowd with a successful pull? Oh, the brakes came on quick. So fast off the floor.
Yeah, sometimes it moves fast and then it just comes to a dead stop. You've just got to get your hips through.
That was where the sticking point was previously.
Yeah.
Now we have 326 on the bar for Cathwe of Canada. This is a world record attempt by the Canadian, looking to go 3 for 3, take the gold medal in deadlifts. Oh, whoa. Brett blinked first. 322.5 for Brett Gibbs. And Brett, hoping 322.5, giving him an 827.5 total, is good enough to extend Orhi beyond his means, load the bar with something he can't pull. We knew Brett would have to go first. He's trailing behind in a game of chicken. He's got to make a move. Smiles to himself. Here's the crowd. 315 was tough, but you know Brett is going to dig a little deeper with the world title on the line. The world championship is on the line with this last deadlift. Here it is. He's pulling!
Come on,
Up
Brett.
to, no. A little too much today. And Russell Orhi has just won the world championships. He lowered his last deadlift to 325. That means he will pull before Cafley. And Cafley, poor Cafley, thought he was pulling 3 times.
It's an extra couple of minutes.
Yeah, a couple minutes. It's also a little bit of rattling on the heart.
Yeah.
325 world record total. 830, a 10 times body weight total, was hit by Brett Gibbs in Calgary. Russell says, I like the ring to the 10 times body weight total. I'm not risking the world championship. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your world champion looking to join the 10 times body weight club with a world record total. Making history, Russell Orhi. And it's up! He's done it! 10 times body weight total.
I just
New
hold it for a bit.
world record and held it for the crowd. Russell Orhi is your 83 kilo world champion in dominant style.
What a day he's had. Eh? He didn't miss a lift.
Only 2 lifters have hit their 3rd attempt so far. A sea of red up there. 326, loading on the bar. King Cafley of Canada wants the deadlift world record and the gold medal in deadlifts. And with a field like this, a gold medal, if you're taking that from Russell, if you're taking that from Gibbs, that is quite the gold medal to have. Not to mention history. We're getting spoiled here. 1 pull away. Oh, he might have it. And he's done it. See what the judges say. Gold for Cafley from Canada. World record. Wow. He felt dizzy. History made by the Canadian. And the action just comes up and never comes back down. And as if we need more excitement, 326.5 by Eric Carlson from Sweden says, you know what? These world records look so nice, I think I want myself a plaque. 83 kilo records are completely being washed today. And won't Sweden appreciate a world record? They're already starting to chance. Here he comes. Here he comes. 326.5, a shot at history while at home. Wouldn't it be a special way to cap off his worlds? Don't stop pulling, young man. Oh, it's platform one. Can you believe it? I just, wow, speechless. Oh my God.
Can't calm down yet.
I don't know if I'm going to sleep tonight. And, well, 335. It appears as though Ulan Anwar wants the Hail Mary pass, world record deadlift, and a bronze overall, thank you very much, should he hit it. Just a little too much. We can't get that greedy. We've had plenty of action.
All right. We like to see all the lifters.
Well, it's been quite the show. I know when we kick these shows off sometimes, we promise action. But I think it delivered, and we even understated what was going to happen today. What do you think?
It was just amazing, wasn't it? Just so much.
You know, when you sit in the booth as a co-commentary, you couldn't have picked a better one to sit down in.
I know, I had the best seat in the house today to watch all of that.
In terms of sporting action, you want to see a close game. Nobody shows up to any kind of sport if it's going to be a lopsided victory. This was close all the way through. You want it not just a two-person showdown. 1 through 5 was nothing but deep. You want seesaw in terms of momentum. You had that. You want upsets. You want misses. You want a little bit of controversy. It had all the spices. And then to end off in the end with a sea of failed deadlift attempts, and then the ones that hit, world record back-to-back in the deadlifts, and then, of course, Orhi, with a huge pull, he didn't even need. The world championship was already locked up, joining the very exclusive club of the 10 times body weight, and then breaking the overall world record, which was Brett's. What more could you ask for?
No, we've been spoiled, haven't we, with all the...
Absolutely spoiled rotten. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you liked it. Don't go anywhere from Six Pack Lappernat, Sabrina Moore. We will be right back with the medal ceremony.
The next race, bronze medal goes to USA, Russell Lee, 195. Silver medal goes to New Zealand, and red fleece, 210. And the gold medal goes to Great and Owen O'Hara, 255 pounds. Thank you. Bronze medal goes to USA and Russell Lee, 355. Silver